Hey there viewers, welcome back to the Ray of All Trades channel. Today we're going to be working on a Husqvarna 450 Rancher. Complaint was that it was a no start. He hasn't tried it for a while, dropped it off with a bunch of other equipment. Seems to pull over pretty good, seems to have quite a bit of compression. Pressure relief valve, when it's punched, the air, you can hear it rushing out, so all that looks pretty good. Come along for the diagnosis, let's see what we can find on this thing, get it back in his hands running again. Choke lever works. Seems to have gas in it. I really don't like the way it smells. Let's get that drained out of there. These are nice saws when they run. 450, 455, 460. Quite a bit of dirt in it, but it's very possible that was already in the jar. I was looking more for water. Not really seeing much water, but I am smelling a pretty pungent gas. Check the fuel line and the fuel filter, see if it looks okay. Generally when you're in there and you start changing them, you just swap everything out. But realistically, this one's in pretty decent shape. Pretty clean and still has a lot of bounce to it. It doesn't mean it doesn't have a pinhole or something in it. We're just going with the obvious stuff first. The primer bulb is working and it's pulling gas from somewhere. I'm just trying to pump it back down out of the carburetor into the return if I can. Got some of it out. We're going to fill it up with a fresh gasoline and then prime it quite a bit to pull that old gas and the new gas together, combine them. Have a better chance of making it work. The alternative is pull a carburetor and get all the fuel out of the lines and whatnot. I'm just trying to do it the easy way. Oil container is completely empty. I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of oil in there just in case it fires off. Not going to fill it all the way up, just enough to make sure it's lubricated if it does fire off. Everybody hears about it. Nobody ever admits to it. You've always heard about people mounting chains on backwards, right? And there's a pretty good chance, because like I said, I know the guy that actually runs this one, and I have a feeling because it's sitting here loose, he probably just threw it back on there pretty quick. But had this come in from a regular customer, that would have been my first clue. Hey, look, something's going on, because the chain's actually on backwards. The chain runs this direction, but the cutting teeth are facing that way. Like I said, this one's sitting loose. And I actually know the guy. He's actually one heck of a mechanic, just out of time right now. So he asked me to help him get these together. Yeah, that's something to always look out for, because you don't want to hand it back to the customer after you get it running and you think it's back together, and sure enough, it's going to come back saying, hey, this thing's not cutting worth a darn. We're going to go ahead and fix that real quick while it's sitting here, because I don't want to forget. And then of course I'll be that guy. Easy mistakes, right? Just normal dirt. The spring for the chain brake seems to be intact. These break pretty frequently, and so do those. I did notice a screw missing from this side over here. A little bit of discoloration from the clutch. Oh, y'all can see it. Kind of a bluish hue to it. So if we need to order parts for this thing, then we may end up just go ahead and order a new clutch, which comes with a new sprocket as well, the chain drive sprocket. It's actually a clutch drum. I keep calling it the clutch, but it's actually a clutch drum. Let's make it run, get it back together. And then we'll worry about cleaning it up. I think I figured out why it looked burnt. This brake is actually in the closed position right now, and somebody was running it in that position without it being on there, because it's got some burrs on it. Anyway, it's in the forward locked position right now, and we need to get it to the unlocked position. We're going to cheat. Pull that off. I'm going to put this in a vise so that I can hold it, and then I'm going to be able to pull this so that those two lines line up. Basically, it's in the locked position, which closes this band on that drum. So once it's off, you can't put it back on unless you get it in the open position. Make sure that still moves. There was another screw on the other side. It's already missing, if anybody's wondering why it came off so easy. I'll have to find one of those. Just put this on finger tight so I can get the chain adjusted. So once I have it somewhat close and I've moved the chain back and forth to make sure that it doesn't have any kinks in it, I rotate the saw forward, putting nose pressure on it. You can see that the chain has more slack now. I just tighten that up until that chain just touches the bar. Once it does, then I, still holding it in the forward position, I go ahead and lock it down. Okay, that part's working. The chain lock is working. The decompression's working. We know that the primer bulb is working because it was pumping all that old gas. I'm pumping it again to pump new gas and have the old gas return. We put some oil in it. Control lever and everything works. We're going to see if it fires just on drop starts, and if it does, then we'll go ahead and get to the point where we start tuning it and everything else and making sure everything else functions. But let's just see if it pops off. Yep, she pops off. I could tell by ear when I was running it that the RPMs were way too high and it would have burned the saw up eventually. And like I said, it does that when it runs lean, so I turned it counterclockwise to richen it up. It slowed it down, gives it a little bit of a burble noise, and you kind of want that little bit of burble noise. I've mentioned it in other videos. Look up how to buy a used saw. I've got a great video that shows you how to listen for the burble noise. That'd be extremely helpful. This saw, this Husqvarna 450 Rancher, is actually a really good saw. It's got a lot of life left in it, and we threw a new chain on it. The last one had a lot of meat left on it, but it was missing 4 teeth, I found out when I went to sharpen the chain up. So threw a new chain on it. Husqvarna chain, should last quite a while and should be a reliable saw now. If you guys got anything out of this video, learned anything, or just appreciated watching me work, I would really appreciate a thumbs up or a subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. It tells me what kind of content you guys are after. Thanks for watching.